Hi guys, back again with another video. This is your Mayor PS65. I hope I find you well. Like I promised last time on the previous video, that we're going to a new journey where we'll be talking about autism. But before we go into it into details, I'll ask you guys to subscribe, like, and share the videos. The more we are, the better. We need to get more people to listen to these videos, to watch these videos, because a lot of people need to know and learn about mental health as the whole. But at the moment, we are focusing more on what is autism, what goes through those doors, behind those doors where the people who are supported with autism are. And like I said last time, what are they going through? What is the support workers, whom I should call carers themselves, the support workers, what are they going through? What the parents go through also. So today we'll try, remember last time I told you that my friend introduced me to this company, this hospital, where I was working for the past 13 years. Again, for the disclaimer, I said I'm not an expert in autism. I'm just using my experience of having worked with people with learning disability, severe learning disability with autism. So I'll be deducting from that experience, and I hope that whatever we talk about will help those who are already in the sector, who want to be able to support these guys who have got autism well, and also do it properly or the best that they can, and also reassuring the parents of what goes when they're not there, behind the doors when they're not there. How are their children or their relatives looked after when they're not there? And also those who want to go into the same sector, like those people want to be support workers or carers, what they should expect. So like I said, my friend introduced me to this sector. He said autism, and I remember asking, what is autism? He began to explain to me what is autism in his own way. Remember, this is the guy who's been working with people with autism for some time. So his explanation was more of what he thinks autism is. But before I go into that, for those scholars, I know that we got scholars within who are watching now. For the scholars, let me just give you a definition, a scientific definition. Or if you Google this definition, you'll find it on Google, which is, as we go along, you'll find that it's probably a scientific definition. Just like any name, a tree is called a tree, but then you begin to ask questions like, what tree is it? Is it a mango tree? Is it a guava tree? And then even if it's a guava tree, you begin to ask, does it bear fruits? When does it bear fruit? So there are a lot of things you begin to ask questions. So just the same with definitions. A definition is just a name given to a thing so we can identify it. So autism, the definition you will find if you Google or if you open textbooks or books or literature about autism, it will say, I'll read it for you, a neurodevelopmental condition of variable severity with lifelong effects that can be recognized from early childhood, chiefly characterized by difficulties with social interaction, keep that, communication, and by restricted or repetitive patterns of thoughts and behavior. That's the definition for autism: impairment in social interaction, impairment in communication, impairment in cognitive, which is the pattern of thoughts and behavior. So impairment in behavior. That's what you'll find in the textbook. But when you begin to go deep, when you begin to work in supporting people with autism, you begin to see that there's more beyond the definition itself. It doesn't really do a good thing, a good thing about it. There's more about autism. I have a problem with the word autism itself. You'll find that in my book that I really mentioned. I probably dedicated a whole chapter on this word autism itself, because the word autism separates us from people who have a condition of autism. Why am I saying that? If you take the word autism and divide it into two, which is aut, A-U-T, and then ism, autism, A-U-T, this word is derived from the Greek word of auto, and we all know that auto means self, like automatic, self-operating, auto, autonomy, self, yeah, self. We know what auto means. It means self. So autism is derived from the word auto, which means self. Which now means we are saying people with autism are self-isms. Their life is not within our norms. Their life is within themselves. We separate them. We treat them in a way of they are not part of our system. They are not part of our norms. So we separate them. We give them that title so we can now decide how to provide a support on that spectrum, the spectrum of selfism. It's not far from selfish. It's not far from selfish. Then someone may say selfish is a decision which you make, whilst autism is something which they are born with. But already we are not differentiating, because by saying selfism, we are distancing ourselves from them and say they are there, we are here, which is we're not treating them as we're supposed to do. I'll give you a good story. Before I go to my first day um, of starting this work, on my interview day, I drove to this hospital, parked my car, get out of the car, and I saw 3 gentlemen on the grounds. So I approached them, and before I even opened my mouth, one of them said, "Oh, are you coming for an interview? Do you want the reception?" I said, "Yes, please." They said, "Oh, we'll take you." So they escorted me and showed me where the reception was. And on our way to the reception, they were asking me about my name, and I'm asking them about their names, and we're working together, no issues. So we go to the reception, only to be told that I went to the wrong building. I should go further down where the offices are. So when I came out of the reception, I said, "Bye guys, thank you very much." Got into my car. Then we went through the interviews, like I said on their last video, and I got the job. So you go for training on the first 2 weeks you are trained, they teach you about autism. More of they teach you about the people you're going to support, how you're going to support them, what behaviors they present, and what you are supposed to do when they present those behaviors. And we'll talk more about that also because it's another story. So during the training on the next week, they begin to mention about some of these patients. You found them on the grounds, um, and then they begin to explain how violent they can be and how aggressive they can be. So I asked, I said, "Oh, I saw there's some 3 guys whom I met. They were so nice. They said, oh yeah, those guys. Oh, you should see them when they using the word kick off, which is not a good word. Kick off is usually with a directive or whatever the word is. It's a bad word for getting agitated or getting um, anxious to extent that they become violent. So when they kick off, oh, they're dangerous guys. So immediately I'm like, oh my God, I worked with those guys. They escorted me to reception. So what I'm trying to say is, when I met them first time, without autism being put into my head, the self ism being put into my head, it was okay. 3 guys escorting me to the reception, and when I came out, I said, thank you guys. But now, coming from the training, with what I've been told about them, about autism, I'm scared of them now. I'm thinking, oh, those guys, what if they would slap me? But they didn't slap me. They escorted me to the reception. So what I'm trying to say is that the word autism itself, I'll be careful to use the word discriminative, but I think it's a discriminative word, which its sole purpose is to separate us, whom we think we are normal, with them, which think they are not normal because they are not within the norms of our system. So we give them an identity, which is autism. Keep that in mind because we'll be talking more about these things, because you find that in my book it's more about trying to find, that's why it's called the perfect world of autism, trying to find out what is it that we are missing, why did we choose the direction we are taking, where we are support workers and they are patients. Now we are moving away from the word patient. They were called service users, and then someone came in and said, no, it doesn't sound nice. Now we call people we support. People we support, which is a little better, but it's the way we support them, which I have question marks. Anyway, on my first day after the 2 to 3 week training, I was allocated to this unit, and being a big guy, I was told by one of the trainers that, oh, you are ideal for this unit. I was ideal for that unit, not because, no, but because I'm a big guy. Because this unit was regarded as the most violent and most aggressive patients who will assault people. So being big guy will help when we restrain, which was already, that was a wrong start. but I didn't know anything. So myself, I'm thinking that's the part of the job. You go in there, when they start beating up people, you restrain them. So I'm going in there with that mind of, yeah, I'll be ready to restrain. But that's what I've been taught. Yes, they teach you other strategies, they teach you about other intervention, but there's more emphasis. There's more emphasis on the dangers of a patient being violent or aggressive and what to do. What to do when they're like that to protect your fellow colleague. So you have to learn how to restrain them. You have to be active. So I got to this to my unit, and so I was sitting in the office waiting for the nurse in charge to come and do and give me an induction about the place, when suddenly outside the door all I could hear was screams. The doors were being banged and the people were shouting, and I could hear some screams, and they were restraining this guy right outside the office door. Oh my God. Guys, this is my first day with what I've been taught and what I've been told. When we're doing the training, it's happening outside on my first day. You know, when they say you get butterflies in your stomach, I didn't get butterflies. I got elephants in my stomach. I was shivering. I didn't know. I was confused. I'm questioning myself. Why did I accept this job? Why did I accept this job? Why? Because I've been prepared for this. Not how to deal with it, but to expect what's happening outside the door, right on my first day. So when they finished all the restraining and the gentleman was calm, they took him back to his room. Then the nurse in charge came and gave me a brief induction, and then took me around to show me the rooms where this gentleman, which was a male unit, where they sleep, where they spend the day, where they eat. So whilst we were walking on the corridor, I was shaking like a leaf, looking everywhere, trying to see if no one will come and attack me from anywhere. Why? Because that's what we are prepared for. That's what we've been taught, which is wrong. And I will emphasize that, which is wrong. Because during the training, I remember very well when the trainers will begin to talk about the challenging behaviors of some of the patients. You could see the excitement in their eyes when they look at you, and they can see that you are afraid, or you're like, oh my God. It looks like they get the pleasure out of seeing the fear in you. So it makes them more of the superheroes of the sorry guys, I know some of you we have trained me. I'm not talking about you specific. I'm just talking about all trainers. Some of you trainers, you want to make people feel like you are the best, you are the superheroes, and us we're gonna suffer. Except if we accept what you are teaching us, then we won't be safe. So you go into this unit with that mentality. But you begin to learn a lot when you're in the unit. You begin to learn a lot that there's more to supporting people with autism than restraints, than being active rather than proactive. You begin to learn that. That's what I went through. So as time went on, working in that unit, I began to learn about the guys. I began to learn about their triggers. what makes them do what they do. It's not intentional. No one intends to slap you or spit at you. There is a reason, and the reason can be either they need to communicate something, but they have difficulties, as we saw right at the beginning, on how to communicate. But again, the word difficulties, it's us who defines it, because we don't know how they communicate. We expect them to communicate to the way we understand. Can I have a cup of tea? Is it the only way of communicating for me to have a cup of tea? We then accepted sign language. That's my sign language for cup of tea. Can I have a cup of tea? Sign language, we accept that. But are there no other ways of communicating? Are there no other ways where the body language itself can tell you that someone wants something, and you can identify that thing without a word coming out of the person's mouth? We haven't gave ourselves that opportunity to go and research in that direction of finding out what we can do best for people with autism without trying to pull them into our own system for them to understand us so we can support them. It's supposed to be the other way, where we should understand them so we can support them. I wanted to tell this story on a separate video, but I will say it. I'm not going to mention any names. If I have to mention a name, it will be what the word we use when you use a different name. I'm trying to find an English word for that. So let's call this guy Lee. Yeah, Lee is a good name. So Lee grew up in a family, mother and father, two brothers or two sisters, and Lee was deaf. Lee was deaf right from birth, and everyone, all the parents, or his siblings knew that Lee is deaf. But he grew up being looked after and supported at home, just like any child. The only difference is Lee was deaf. He went through all the primary school, and when he finished primary school, was about to go to high school, because he was deaf, he was sent to a special school, and they decided that he's good in doing art, so he will specialize in art subjects, art, proper drawing art. Now Lee is a teenage young boy who is in a college doing art. Two sisters, or brothers if you want, mom and dad. They go on holidays with him. They do everything. They know how to support him. They know how to talk to him so he understands them with sign languages. So one day, Lee, when he was in the college, he drew a nice picture. Took his time drawing a nice picture. And the teacher came in, probably with some domestic issues still in his brain. He was just not happy for some reason. He went to Lee's picture and say, "What is this?" Then he began to shout at Lee, saying, "You didn't do it the right way. That's not what I told you." And also he tore the picture and threw it in the bin. Start again. That moment, Lee got agitated. He got so agitated that he assaulted the teacher badly, that the police had to come. When the police came and arrested the teenager boy, they now began to think, what would have caused him to do this? That's when a diagnosis was called for, only to be diagnosed with autism. Only to be diagnosed with autism. The moment that word came out, autism, he did this because he's autistic. Oh my God. The social workers, the hospitals where he was being diagnosed, they fed him straight away. I'm not saying it's a wrong thing, but I'm saying there's that's somewhere I'm going. He was referred straight away to an institute, a hospital like ours, or any other hospital, where they look after people with autism who present aggression and violent behaviors. It's no longer safe to go home. It's no longer safe to go back to the college. And this is the guy who's been staying home for the past 17, 18 years. And he was safe to stay at home. He was safe to go to college. But suddenly, he's now diagnosed with autism. He's now being labeled a dangerous, violent person who is not fit to stay at home. My question is, what were they doing right for the past 17, 18 years? What were they doing right for the past 17, 18 years at home? And why suddenly now is now a dangerous person because the teacher made him angry? Yes, he became violent, but because he was now diagnosed of autism, it's no longer safe to be in the community. It's no longer safe to be at his home with his own family. So what I'm trying to say is, sometimes the way we treat people with mental health, especially people with autism, we need an awareness. We need to rethink about it. On the next videos, I'll try and give you more scenarios, and we talk about them and see how best can we support people. Where are we going wrong? Where is the system going wrong? Or what are we doing right? We need to look at both things. So with Lee, I do believe that there was more which was supposed to be done, finding out how best can he be supported at home with the same diagnosis of autism. But the moment you throw that person into an institutes, hospitals, care homes are different from your own home. They are different from your own home. On the next videos, I'll begin to show you the difference between someone who's living in a controlled environment and someone who's living at home. It's far different. A controlled environment, there are things which are put in place. We'll talk about personal-centered care, but again, remember, someone has to decide what is best for you and what personal-centered care you need, especially if you're non-verbal like Lee. Whilst at home, his own mother, who gave birth to him, his own siblings, knew how to support him. until the day he was diagnosed with autism. So again, guys, like I said, more videos are coming where we'll go deep into the subject of autism. Like I said, I'll give you more scenarios and then we discuss about them and how best we can support each other and how best we can support the guys with autism. So again, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share the videos. Please share the videos. I noticed that last video had more viewers than my previous videos, but we are still not subscribing. Let's subscribe. Our target for these 2 months is to get to 1,000 subscribers. Let's do this, guys. I know we'll get it, and let's learn together so we can support our fellow family guys with autism and mental health. Thank you, guys. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share the videos. Bye. Mayor PS65.